You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, thank you for tuning in to the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. This is pretty interesting of where it could end up for Ole Miss with Georgia State. If you look at the lines out there right now, it's going down pretty consistently. It's about a 5 touchdown line. It's 34.5 at the moment. The over-under is at 60.5 points. That's still 42-7. That's still 49-14, this line. So it's not a situation to where it's not a blowout, not a domination. Being favored by 34.5 points, that's a lot of points, honestly, if we're going to be real about it. But we'll see exactly how that goes for Ole Miss and Georgia State in this game. Listen, I was looking at predictions for this game, the takeaways that I had before this game, the things that could go extremely well. I like Santarin Perkins to have 2 sacks in this game. I think 2 sacks should be the number for him, especially with what's going on the defensive line. I like Austin Simmons, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, just period. Kewan Lacy, a touchdown, more than 50 yards for a touchdown. The defensive backfield playing relatively well, even though Jeff Hurst, wide receiver for Georgia State, David Schultz yesterday said he was legit and somebody that needed to be paid attention to. There's a lot of transfers, as you would expect, on the Georgia State roster, so there could be some surprises. And Ole Miss absolutely needs to build a little continuity. Get ready for this game. Move to the next game. You have 4 out of the 5 of the starters before the season. They're going to be fine. This is a game with everything in front of it that Ole Miss seems to have every single advantage. The continuity thing actually does not work in Georgia State's favor because that means the starters should stay in a little bit longer. So we'll see exactly what that looks like coming into the game. My prediction right now, I'm going with this. Ole Miss 48, Georgia State 14. Georgia State's going to score a touchdown late to cover the spread. Ole Miss will not cover on the game, but Ole Miss will have a relatively dominating performance, as you might expect. I expect Austin Simmons to come out of this game with more confidence that he went into the game. I expect Kewan Lacy to come out with more confidence. The wide receivers, we will have an idea. How much will Caleb Odom play? Trace Bruckler on the goal line. What does that look like? And also Daquan Wright, who's the starter, the oft-forgotten starter. We'll see exactly how it goes. But this game is all set up to be a dominating performance from the Ole Miss Rebels in this football game. So we'll see exactly how it goes. Anyway, I want to put up this graphic one more time because going into week 1, as we're already in, Auburn and Baylor is tonight. Auburn's on this list. Baylor is not. But we need to keep this in mind, especially when people try to predict college football based off of the way they've always done it. If somebody is just on their cliches, in this era, this is a great way to look really foolish because nobody really knows how this is going to play out. According to FanDuel's top 100 team, or top 23 teams that all have 101 or better odds to win the national title, 15 out of those 23 are changing quarterbacks this year. That includes Ohio State. That includes Miami. That includes Texas. That includes Auburn. That includes Oregon. These are all like heady top 10 level teams. Georgia, OU has a new team. Louisville has one. Notre Dame's replacing a quarterback. Indiana, which is kind of funny, but okay. Alabama is. Missouri is. Ole Miss is. Florida State is, which that's an addition by subtraction type thing. But still, quarterback play is the most important part to playing football, period. That and stopping the run. If you can play those two positions really well, you are going to have a pretty good football team. We have to figure out, who is a top 10 team, who is a contender, and who is this year's Florida State on their way to a 2-10 team after being a top 10 team in the preseason. It all comes down. That one was DJ Uiagalelei. But this year it could be Miami with Carson Beck. It could be Oregon with Dante Moore, a freshman, a young player. It could be Ty Simpson in Alabama. It could be Jackson Arnold making a run into the top 10 at Auburn. It is interesting. But the players that have quarterbacks, they're going to be the darlings of everybody. Cade Klubnik at Clemson. Everybody's really high on Clemson. Garrett Nussmeier at LSU. Everybody's high on LSU because of quarterback play, the two most important position. And with this many schools being unknowns going into this weekend, I'm just really kind of excited to see how all of this plays out. It should be really, really fun. Anyway, thanks again for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your go-to source for Ole Miss sports. We pride ourselves on offering the most comprehensive perspectives, which is why we're the front door of Ole Miss. If you don't believe us, search Ole Miss Podcast and see how much the Locked On Ole Miss podcast pops up. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, like the podcast, comment on the video. It helps the show and is completely free. Your support means the world to us. Today is a big moment, honestly, for Locked On. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV are presenting College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation along two-time AP Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's panel of local experts. A Locked On college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. Howdy toddy, everybody. And remember, analytics is just the old English word that means bad football. We made it.